Welcome to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show. Coming up on today's show, we will be talking about Walt Disney returning from the dead. We've got details. And we've said this for a very, very long time. The family that screens together stays together. We've got a last-minute deal. If you love trains, stay tuned for the Canyon Spirit last-minute deal and the game changer for Carnival. And we have good news. The Love Boat cast is getting together. Let's start the show. The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show presented by BluePlanetVacations.com contains travel deals, promotions, and offers that may be time sensitive. All offers and information were accurate when the show aired. Travel deals and offers change constantly and are capacity controlled and subject to change without notice.
Explore your world. It's the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Call or text the show now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. And now, here are your hosts, Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
Welcome to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show. Hello there. I'm Patrick Wiscombe alongside Mark Faldmo. He'll be here in just a moment. He's in the other room printing some stuff off. And if you are brand new to this show, the entire purpose of this radio show and podcast is to help you, your friends, your family, whoever you want to go with, to book your next vacations or just give you ideas of where you may want to consider vacationing next. And we are proudly presented by my friend, Mark Faldmo's company, BluePlanetVacations.com. And again, just a sincere thank you for taking the time to stop and listen. Coming up on this show, Walt Disney is returning from the dead, and we have said for years and years that the family that screens together stays together. And we've got the game changer, or at least a potential game changer for Carnival. And good news if you are a fan of the Love Boat. Mark, when was the Love Boat on? Was that early 80s, mid 80s?
No, I think it was mid 70s.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, I think it was like 1977-ish.
Okay. Well, if you are an older listener of the show, then you will be happy to know that the Love Boat cast is getting back together. But first, let's get to the travel news headlines. And let me, just at the top of the show here, let me give out the studio and text number. We want to answer your calls and take your questions during the show. 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700 if you have a travel-related question. Mark, let's start with the travel news headlines. TSA has unveiled a dedicated family screening lane.
This, I think, is a great idea. I don't know why they didn't think of this earlier. They're rolling this out right now at select airports where there is a dedicated line that is built for, and they're able to handle strollers, diaper bags, and everything else that comes with people, along with families traveling together. I think it'll speed the process up for everybody. Where there's a line that is dedicated to some of those more specialty items is a great idea. And right now it is in kind of its test phases, and they chose a great airport for the testing of it, and it's Orlando International Airport. So where you get lots of families traveling together. And the other one is Charlotte Airport.
Charlotte.
Yep. Soon they hope to be rolling this out to Orange County, Honolulu, Charleston, Jacksonville, Providence, Rhode Island, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Tampa are the next airports that will get this family screening lane. And also another thing along with this, the TSA has announced there is a family discount for pre-check. So
really?
The family can apply, and it would be $85 per person to get pre-check instead of the $100 it currently costs now on an individual basis.
So 15% off, basically.
News.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Europe has set a new date for its new border system. This is the story that just won't go away. because Europe can't pull its act together. The ETIAS, which is Electronic Travel Initiative Authorization System, I think is what that stands for. Or
Yes.
I'm real close to it. Anyway, they're tripling the fee to what? 20 euro or euros.
So that's about $27, almost $30 a person that it'll cost to get this new. And basically, it's an entry and exit system.
Yeah.
And so this does finally, they have a date set, October 12th. That's just here in a few weeks. So if you're traveling to Europe on October 12th or after, you will need to use this new entry and exit system.
Walt Disney is back from the dead. Mark, did you see that headline?
I did see that.
Wow. Let us clarify. There is an animatronic version of Walt Disney, the founder of Disney World, Disneyland. He's going to be in the Disneyland attraction, which I thought was great. It's good to see Walt back, at least in robotic form.
Yes, this actually opened last week, and it's something for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. So it's in the Main Street Opera House. It shows Walt in his office, and it goes through the history of the animatronic figures. The animatronic Walt is the presenter. Disney always comes up with interesting things, and I'm actually surprised they haven't done this sooner. In one of the stories I read, that they've been thinking about doing this for 20 years, but it finally came to fruition on the 70th anniversary of Disneyland.
So they were thinking about doing it for the 50th anniversary, which kind of would have made more sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Than 70. You received, was this a call or a text from James earlier?
It was actually both, but the specific question came by text.
Okay. 801-649-3700 is the text number to get a hold of the show. He has booked a river cruise starting in Budapest with Julie, who is someone who works for you in your office. He wants to know if he should go to Budapest a few days early and where to stay. Should he go a few days early? The answer is yes.
I would go at least 2 days, but probably 3 days early for the river cruise. There's lots of things to do in Budapest. Now, usually river cruises do have a tour included in Budapest, so part of some of the sightseeing is already included, but there's so much to see in Budapest. I would go in a few days before. And as far as where to stay, my favorite hotel in Budapest is the Intercontinental Budapest. It's right on the river. It's across from Castle Hill. So at nighttime, you see all the buildings and monuments lit up. There's a nice little kind of boardwalk there with lots of shops and restaurants. I think on the show before, I've told the story of me just eating a bowl of goulash in a sidewalk cafe, and it was behind the Intercontinental Hotel.
Oh,
just looking at the river and looking at all of the monuments, Castle Hill, the church was all lit up right at sunset time. It was amazing. I would suggest everybody do that once in their life.
Okay, let me paint the picture for you. Mark has traveled literally almost 4 million miles. If something takes his breath away, it's probably pretty good.
Yes, yeah, it's good. So that Intercontinental Budapest is where the first place I would look at. And then there are two others. One is the Budapest Marriott. It is also on the river, but it's a little bit further down. I think the Intercontinental just has a prime location. The Intercontinental is also a short walk from a little square, which is called Erzsébet Park, which is just a pedestrianized area with shops, restaurants, things to do. There is a hotel I recommend that's right in that Erzsébet Park as well, which is the Kempinski Hotel.
Nice hotel?
It's a very nice hotel. These are all 4.5, 5-star hotels.
Okay. Nice hotel.
One interesting thing about that Erzsébet Park, there is a Michael Jackson memorial there. It's a tree, and every year at the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, it gets decorated with pictures and memories and all of that. And the reason is because Budapest, I think, was one of the last concerts that Michael Jackson played. And every time he was in Budapest, he did stay at that Kempinski Hotel right in the park.
Don't they have a room in there specifically for him? It's called the Teehee Suite.
I think they do. Yes. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you like to do when you're there?
If you're into architecture, Budapest is a great place.
Oh, yeah.
When talking about architecture, the Budapest Parliament is an architecture marvel. It was built in 85, and it's the largest Gothic building in the world. You can just walk around it, or there are tours inside. I've taken the tour a few times, and it is amazing inside the building as well. The next place I would visit is Buddha Hill. And this is something that often the river cruises will include. But on Buddha Hill, it kind of overlooks the city. You have a great view of Parliament. It's on the opposite side of the river as Parliament. There's Fisherman's Bastion, St. Matthias Church, which we've talked about a few times on this show. It was a Christian church, and then when the Turks ruled it, it was a mosque. The thing that's nice about this, a lot of the Turks and Muslims, they don't like the ornate, and so a lot of the churches, they just destroyed all of that ornateness. But I guess they were a little bit lazy, and they just covered a lot of it up. So when Christians took the church back over and they took the walls down, they found hidden rooms that were not destroyed. So it has some really early Christian architecture in it, Gothic Christian architecture. And that's also another good place that I've had some Hungarian goulash. So
that's how we bridge this show. Everything is bridged with food, with things to do.
Yeah. There's so many great food things around the world. And we've actually got another one we'll talk about a little bit later relating to Budapest. Another monument that is worth visiting, and this is near the Parliament. It's called Shoes on the Danube.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a tribute to the Jews that were in Hungary and were taken away to the concentration camps. It is a really kind of moving memorial called Shoes on the Danube. Budapest has an amazing old town Jewish quarter that's kind of been renovated. I've gone and walked through those streets. It is one of the most amazing Jewish quarters in the world that you can visit. The Great Market Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely worth a visit. It's a fish market and produce and food on the lower level. The upper level is souvenirs. And then one of my favorite things I've done all around the world, cooking classes are always great to do.
Oh, yeah.
But in Budapest, I did a strudel cooking class, and it's called stretch strudel. And so you get this dough and everyone gets around the table and stretches it out, and then they fill it up and roll it and make it. You make your own strudel. Strudel is one of the good desserts in that area of the world. Austria.
If someone doesn't know what strudel is, how would you explain it?
So strudel is a pastry with fruit in the middle, usually apple strudel. And so you roll it up and it's like a big log. You cook it and then slice it up, put some powdered sugar on it and eat it. Kind of like a pie.
Well, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Apple pie, I'm okay with.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if someone doesn't know what goulash is, what is goulash? Because you've referenced it a couple times now.
Goulash is a stew, usually made with pork or beef, has lots of paprika in it, and it's probably my favorite type of super stew in the whole world. I love goulash. It has potatoes and carrots.
There we go.
It's a lot like stew we have here, but it's heavy in paprika.
Before we go to break, if you love trains, take advantage of this. This is on the Canyon Spirit, which is formerly Rocky Mountaineer. Hot travel deal of the week. What do we have for listeners this week, Mark?
This is the route that goes between Denver and Moab.
Oh, you did this a year ago. Literally a year ago.
Yep. So right now they're having on their Silverleaf Plus service, they are giving complimentary upgrades to that service, which is a value of about $600 per person. What that gets you is your traditional seats on the rail route, but then they have Silverleaf Plus only, a viewing car and a lounge car where you can go sit and play cards and watch things. They have people that tell stories in there. So it's kind of an upgraded, exclusive, like lounge access type thing that you can get on that Canyon Spirit train. And this is only on their service that goes between Denver and Moab. Just, I think last week, they did just start bringing that train all the way to Salt Lake.
Oh, they did?
But this is only on the 2-day service, not the 3-day service.
Okay. All right. So this is Denver to Moab or
to Moab. Yeah.
The opposite direction.
Yeah. And you have to book that by August 12th.
Okay.
And it's another thing I highly endorse. I'm strange because I love trains so much, but it was a fabulous train through the Rockies and then down through that southern Utah area. Yeah.
You absolutely loved it. Take advantage of the hot travel deal of the week. The Canyon Spirit, formerly Rocky Mountaineer. Call Mark 888-718-7717, 888-718-7717. And he'll also post this information on blueplanetvacations.com. When we come back, we've got the game changer for Carnival, and the Love Boat cast is reuniting, and we've got a Norwegian coastal voyages save up to $3,000. This is a very, very significant savings, not only from a monetary standpoint, but who you're going with. This is Hurtigruten. That is next. Plus, we've got the cruise news headlines when the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show, continues. Alongside Mark Faldmo, my name is Patrick Wiscombe. Thank you so much for listening. We will be right back.
Taking you to destinations around the world. The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show is presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show now. 801-649-3700. 801-649-3700. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Inside Travel Talk is brought to you by AMA Waterways. From castles and capitals to vistas and villages, visit some of Europe's most remarkable sites and cities. To set out on your own river cruise journey, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.
Now, back to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show right now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. Here's Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
Ahoy, mateys. You are listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show. This is the infamous Just Cruising segment. This is the part of the show that has made us famous around the country and hopefully around the world, but certainly here in America. Coming up in this segment of the show, we've got the cruise deal of the week, and we've got a special deal for our listeners on Hurtigruten. This is a promotion that you'll only hear on this show. We'll get to that here in just a second, but let's get to the cruise news headlines and the cruise news. Mark, where do you want to start here? Should we go Norwegian? Yeah, let's there.
Let's go with Norwegian.
Okay. So Norwegian Cruise Line will be featuring some special things for the 2027 season. Didn't they just announce this? Was it earlier this week or late last week? I don't remember.
It was late last week. It's actually their deployment for spring and summer of 2027. It's interesting how far out. I've actually seen some cruise lines already announce 2028 deployments. The best time to get in on a cruise, if you're looking for price and the most amenities, is to book right when the deployments are put out. So if you're looking to cruise in 2027, want to go on Norwegian, now is the time to go. What they've announced, they have over 500 voyages across their 20 ships, and they're really emphasizing the 7-day voyages and weekend departures. Some other cruise lines have gone to more of the longer cruises, but Norwegian is kind of really trying to stick more to that 7-day voyage, and also highlight their private island destinations of Great Stirrup Cay and Harvest Cay, which is in Belize.
Have you seen that announcement from Norwegian? It was some massive construction going on Great Stirrup Cay, which is their private island. They're finally going to put in a pier. They're also going to put in a kind of a beach club where the pool is just going to be enormous.
Yeah, it'll be I think the largest swimming pool in the world is what I heard. Something like that. It'll be a huge swimming pool. And then also a water park they're putting in at Great Stirrup Cay.
It's funny that you're in the middle of the ocean, literally on an island called Great Stirrup Cay. How many miles off the coast are you? 60, 70 miles, something like that from off the coast of Miami?
About approximately.
It was so strange that when Nikki and I were there and we were vacationing, this was the month of April that we just lived on 4 cruises back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
That the last day before we came home, we were sitting on the beach and you could hear construction, like big, heavy equipment. And it was kind of funny to we're in the middle of the ocean and we're hearing construction going on. It was just kind of funny.
Another thing that Norwegian announced is they're really trying to incorporate more overnights.
Oh.
So in this deployment, they'll visit over 150 ports across 59 countries. And in that, they'll have 170 overnight stays in destinations like Istanbul and Reykjavik. We talk about their Hawaii itinerary that has a couple of overnights in it. And they're also expanding to 8 ships in Europe that, again, will mostly do 7-day itineraries to begin and end on the weekends, which will allow guests to experience the ports a little bit more.
They got to pay for those ships.
They do. Yeah.
The Aqua, Prima, all of them.
Yeah.
The best time, period. Across the board, no last minute cruise deals. Get on the list to be notified when these new deployments from all of the cruise companies. That is the best time to book your cruise, period. It's not even close.
Yeah, it definitely is.
A game changer for Carnival. Is this Celebration Key?
This is Celebration Key.
This could be very, very interesting.
This is a new private beach destination for Carnival. And Carnival really hasn't been into the private island thing, or
no.
They've kind of lagged behind other cruise lines. And so this is a beach destination. It's on Grand Bahama Island.
Which I thought was interesting because it's not, technically it's not a private island.
No, it's not. And they're terming it as a private beach destination. So Carnival has invested $600 million in phase 1 of this new project. And it's on 68 acres of land on the south side of Grand Bahama. It has freshwater lagoons, family areas, adult areas, 10-story water slide that's shaped like a sand castle. So they've really put a lot of thought into this. And eventually, they're going to expand it an additional 154 acres. And the pier will have capacity for 2 cruise ships at a time.
It's open now, right? I think it is.
It is. Yeah. It opened about 10 days ago.
Okay. That's what I thought. The Love Boat. If you're a fan of the 70s TV show, The Love Boat, the cast is going to reunite on a themed cruise aboard Regal Princess. What are the details? And how can people book that? Probably through you.
Yeah, they can book it through me. And also, per our earlier conversation, the Love Boat ran from 1977 to 1987.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. It was
you're
mid-80s.
Not crazy to think early 80s. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So this Love Boat reunion cruise, they just announced it, and it's for November 16th of this year. So just a few months away. And it sails from Galveston. It will have several of the original cast members. Kind of the main highlight will be Cynthia Tews, who was Julie McCoy, the cruise director. And the other kind of headlining was not a regular person on the Love Boat, but Sharo will...
Wait, she's still alive?
She is, I guess. Yep. And so she'll be the main one, but other characters will be on there. Vicky Stubing, Gopher will be on there. Isaac will be on there.
Oh, man. I loved Isaac. He was hilarious.
And so it's a 7-day cruise, again, from Galveston, November 16th. For being a specialty cruise like this, the prices are pretty good. An inside cabin starts at $608, and a balcony cabin starts at $839.
Oh, wow.
Its ports are Cozumel with an overnight, so 2 full days in Cozumel, and then Roatan Island with 3 days at sea.
Gavin McLeod will not be making an appearance.
He will not, unfortunately.
No,
yeah.
That's too bad.
I have been on 4 cruises with the cast of the Love Boat, and they're pretty fun to do. So
wait, hold on. You've seen the cast that many times?
All of the inaugural cruises, they invite a lot of the cast back. So I've seen a lot of performances and different things that the cast does. Nowadays, it's more of a meet and greet because they're all getting fairly old. But but it's fun to see those. And that's one thing I like about Princess Cruises. They always on the TV have the Love Boat channel that just plays the Love Boat episodes.
When they leave the port, they always play the Love Boat theme on the ship's horn.
Ship's horn, yeah, which is their ship horn. Yeah.
Cruise deal of the week. If you want to save significant money with Hurtigruten, we'll make this the cruise deal of the week. What details do we have? I'm assuming it's Norway.
Yeah, it's Norway. And, we've talked about Hurtigruten in the past. I think it's a great product, a great way to explore coastal Norway. And this is one of the companies I met with a few weeks ago when we were talking about GTM, the Global Travel Marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
I've known about them, but I had a really good chat with one of the vice presidents there at Hurtigruten. Just made me more excited for this product. And I've actually had a couple of requests for Hurtigruten. Hurtigruten actually has two different products. One is their original voyage, which is actually used for locals and mail. So they're contracted by the government to do a 12-day round trip that delivers mail, and locals can use it as a ferry. And they also have a signature voyage, which is more like a cruise, but it still has lots of little stops on there. And right now, Hurtigruten is offering up to $3,000 off their original Coastal Express. So this is the one that operates like a ferry kind of. It's a 12-day round trip from Bergen.
Bergen's beautiful.
And, it does stop at places in the middle of the night, but what you miss on the way up, you get on the way back during daytime hours. And so you do get to see all of that. It has 34 different ports in 12 days.
Whoa.
And they run shore excursions where you might get off at one port, but get on the ship in another port. Because some of the stops are as short as 10 minutes.
Oh, really quick.
To as long as 4 hours. But they have a really good program to get you out to see the different things and back to connect with the ship. This deal is up to $3,000 on select sailings. Most of these are fall sailings, so it would be a good time if the Northern Lights are on your bucket list to do this Norwegian coastal voyage with Hurtigruten.
Take advantage of the cruise deal of the week. That is absolutely worth doing. 888-718-7717. 888-718-7717 is how you get a hold of Mark and his company. You can also get their contact information on blueplanetvacations.com. You can listen to this show again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Time right here on this radio station and around the country. Plus, you can stream, download, and subscribe to the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com or on all of the major podcast platforms. When you go to the website, InsideTravelTalk.com, we've got links to all of those podcast platforms. Well, now it's your turn to get out and explore the world while you can, because you never know what curveballs life is going to throw at you. Live your life deliberately, live your life intentionally, and just a sincere thank you for listening. Mark, have a good week.
You too, Patrick.
We'll talk to you again next Saturday and Sunday.
That's it. That's the end of the show. You've been listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show with Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Book your adventure right now. Call 888-718-7717. That's 888-718-7717. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
This segment of Inside Travel Talk is sponsored by El Dorado Spa Resorts. Escape to Cancun's Riviera Maya with authentic, all-inclusive luxury at an El Dorado Spa Resort. To book your romantic beach getaway, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.